Yo, it's your boy DZ, man. You already know it's not about the setback. It's about the get back. I want to appreciate everyone that's became a member, that subscribed to the channel, and that watches the channel. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we go live. I appreciate all of y'all that rock with me, and I hope y'all continue to rock with me. What's poppin', fam? What's crack-a-lackin'? What it do with the business is? You know I appreciate all y'all, man. And if you haven't already smashed that like button, hit the like button. You know, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you might well subscribe. We here every day. We ain't going nowhere. And we locked in. Yeah. Shout out to all y'all, though. So, we know WACK is them folks. Working with them folks. Yeah, we exposing it. Other people exposing it. It's a lot of people know that WACK ain't right? And people calling him out everywhere. People been calling him out, right? But usually WACK be able to spin it, switch the narrative. Now, it's too many people. You know, he's not that strong, and it's showing. Whereas though at one point, he felt like he had the control of the internet space and the outlets to be able to control the narrative, right? And now, he doesn't have that control no more, and it's showing. Academics is putting out what he want, right? You know, he tried to lie and say it was paperwork on T Grizzly. Come to find out, it was Fufafi. Academics putting it out there, letting people speak now against it. He don't like it. These platforms that he felt that he had that ability to manipulate them and control them, which he did at one point. Hey, they like, man, WACK is content, man. We just gonna put it out either way. Either it's him putting content on somebody or somebody using him for content. Hey, all that you my brother stuff is out the window. Yeah, nobody's respecting you my brother to WACK no more. That shit is old. You know, they might try to like make him feel good when they talking to him, but behind the scenes, I gotta say this, right? And I know I'm right about this. Academics, Vlad, and Adam, they have a separate group chat without WACK100. I guarantee you that those individuals talk about WACK behind his back. I can guarantee you that, because WACK is too messy for them to think that, you know, we just gonna deal with WACK like he's on our level. I can see it now that they're having discussions about WACK, right? Without WACK. And we see that WACK is looking like a goofy all across the internet. Whereas though one time he was goofy, but he was manipulating these people. That trouble that he calls that no jumper, right? Let it be known what type of individual he is. He's a snake. He's a backdoor artist. He's a manipulator. He gonna encourage people to do things and then act like I ain't had nothing to do with it. They did it on their own. They grown. And it's showing. It's showing the dirtbag that he is. And now that he's been doing this for so long, you got to get exposed, man. You made it your business to call yourself an exposer, but I call him a snake, right? While currently and continuously being a snake, working with the authority, committing crimes, and then being loud about it. WACK should have changed his life around, right? If he wanted to be an exposer. Because you thought that you had that much manipulation game because I guess these people in the music industry allowed you to manipulate shit, allowed you to extort shit, allowed you to, do all this goofy shit that you was doing, and nobody crashed out. And I said to myself earlier on some honest stuff, right? I said, the Lord had to really put me in my zone the way I am, right? Because I know on everything I love, right? I could never experience the stuff that these people have experienced in the music industry, between WACK, Big U, whoever, running pressure. Because I know me, right? And I know not everybody's like me, but I know me. I would have said, forget life. Like real shit. For somebody to wake up every day and someone thinking that they could put pressure on somebody and that was it. When I think about that though, really though, it's like these people know the people to target. Yeah, straight up. They gotta know the people they target. Cause I know me, I couldn't function with that. There's no way that I could function every day knowing somebody was extorting me, putting any kind of pressure on me without taking it all the way there. It would have been a lot of slow singing and flower bringing. Straight up. There's no way. And I'm like, to the people that been through it, that are going through it, hey, man, that's some, shit that you got to figure out how to deal with. But I know that there's no way that I would have been able to, deal with that shit. Nah. We would have crashed. Everybody. Whoever, whatever team it was, whoever, we would have had to crash. It would have been the biggest thing that ever been seen. It would have had to be. But WACK is exposing himself and getting what he deserved now. The shit is just so corny that these jokers really run around like that, man. And whatever the outcome is for these type of people, I really I can't feel sorry for those type of people. If you ever went out here and was extorting people, I can't feel sorry for you. Real shit though. Because I be thinking about that shit myself, right? And I be like, damn, if somebody did some shit like that to me and was trying to extort me, they would have to see Jesus. It's it would be no other decision for me than that. To extort me, to run pressure on me, somebody got to see Jesus. Because there would be no way on this earth that I would be able to function knowing that someone was putting pressure on me while enjoying their life. And I'm feeling like I can't do this and I can't go here and I gotta be tiptoeing with this and they calling me up hold up. I don't know. Maybe, some people can handle shit like that. But this is why I thank the Lord for, giving me the ability to see a lot of things and, being able to be on point with a lot of things. Because I couldn't do it, man. To the ones that deal with that shit, hey, man. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way with me. You're not doing that. I can't function like that. It's like, nah. Fuck it. I'll be thinking like, nobody needs to be here. Fuck that. Why are we here? Shit. We might as well go all the way out with this shit. We might as well go wherever it needs to go. Because this shit ain't happening. But like I said, these certain type of people, they know the type of people to do this to. They fill them out. They lay on them, right? And they play on those type of people because they feel like they're weak. And then I see that they know the certain niggas to never try that with, right? Because it's those type of niggas that's going to say, okay, somebody got to see Jesus. Straight up. They got to see Jesus. Ain't no way I'm getting up every day and a nigga got pressure on me. That's a hell of a life to live. And I would never want to live like that. But Cowboy calls out WACK. Cowboy know WACK is working. And a lot of people in California, across the world, know WACK is police. Freeze! Put your hands up! 600, get my cuffs. Bring the squad car around. Put your hands up. Get on the ground. You going to jail. I'm locking all you niggas up. Y'all going to jail. A lot of people know WACK, 600, and anybody affiliated with those jokers are them people. Straight up. Yeah. Now, I done said this many a times, right? Them people are not going to allow you to lead with violence. Straight up. They're not going to allow you to do that shit, man. That shit doesn't happen nowhere in the world without getting checked. WACK is leading with violence. Straight up. But the niggas lining niggas up too. Yeah. Lining niggas up. And it's like plain as day, right? Straight up. You're not going to be able to, right, go into a store and the person at the cash register see you stealing something and he don't call the cops. He don't react. He just going to be like, all right, he's stealing again. This is the exact thing that WACK is doing. He's out here committing crimes loudly. And you mean to tell me the FBI, police at the cash register, they just gonna say, all right, yeah, WACK is committing crimes again. Yeah, let him just go ahead. Oh yeah, WACK said 1,500 to unalive that dude's mom and sister and them. Okay, yeah, WACK100 was out there when these people got beat up, robbed, stripped, pistol whipped. He kicked their foot, which was on camera. Just let it go. You think that shit is going to happen? And the police, the feds don't do nothing? Nah. WACK100 is working. Straight up. All that tough shit. We gonna get out. Yeah, on Paru. All that shit. That shit's a lie, man. That shit is a facade. That shit is not real. You niggas out there that end up thinking that WACK ain't gonna do nothing to you and WACK is okay, man, you better understand WACK does not live by any gang politics at all. Hell no. But his goal is to make sure that you feel like he lived by the gang politics. He wants you to think that that's what he on. So, of course, he knows all the lingo. He knows all the gang lingo. Every bit of it. On the dead homies. whatever set you claiming, neighborhood, Paru, whatever you claim, right? He knows the lingo and he knows how things are operating and who's supposed to rep what. He knows this. So of course, he gonna play on whoever he can to keep you thinking that he with the shit. But in all actuality, that nigga is them people. You ain't never seen nobody but Wack act the way he's acting, threatening people violently, and nothing happened to him. You've never seen that with no other individual in the world. And nothing happened? Come on now. But Wack got so much access to the entertainment, podcast, rap. He's all way around the circles. And the feds, they got their inside scoop. Wack. Let Wack go in there. He got it. I guarantee you, right? When Wack go around these certain people, automatically his phone is recording. Automatically, he hitting the record on his shit. Everything need to be recorded. Straight up. Everything need to be recorded. Straight up. I'm just being real. And when he goes around these jokers, he got his phone on. He got it on. This shit is crazy. And he's making sure that information get back. Oh yeah. He making sure that the information gets back. He get around these niggas. He be playing tough. Yeah, the big bad wolf. But when he ran into somebody like J-Rock, he got knocked the fuck out. Understanding that it's certain individuals that ain't having that shit. You try to press them, nigga gonna get down for real. Straight up. Don't care about who you with. And to be honest, right? Wack hasn't ran into the right individual that really play with them things. And this is a fact. I'm sure there's plenty of people on the West Coast that's playing with them motherfucking yappers, that's playing with that shit, right? I'm sure. It's like that all over the world. But Wack hasn't ran into one of them niggas. One of them niggas that don't care about nothing. And they gonna blow that blower. He ain't ran into none of them. Now I know it's niggas out here that'll do shit behind the scenes. But it's some broad daylight niggas out there. Don't care what you around, who you with, where you at. They don't give a fuck if the police out there. It's some niggas like that. Wack hasn't ran into one of them. Nah, because nobody's heard of nobody licking at the nigga. You ain't heard of that. So he hasn't ran into one of them niggas yet. But the game he playing, right? He don't know when that can come. Straight up. He don't know when that can come. The game he playing, if we being real, his target is women and the men that he think is weak. Straight up. His target is women and the men that he think is weak. I really think that Wack definitely fills the people out that he go at and he get brolic with. He's gonna fill you out. If he know you like that and you active and somebody say, yo, he gonna go there, right? He might do that shit from a distance. But then when he see you, it's gonna be like a peace treaty. Oh man, you know, that was for content and It ain't like that. And yeah. And it's people out there that are staying down. But it's some people out there, right, that can't sleep right with shit like that. On some real shit. That can't sleep right until something happens. And WACK hasn't ran into that type of individual, right? Somebody that say, man, I don't care about nothing. Something gotta go. WACK has not ran in that individual. And I'm sure there's plenty of people like that all across the world, in every city, but WACK has not ran into that individual. Straight up. But there's people like that everywhere. And if WACK have ran into someone like that, he wouldn't be the way he is now. Straight up. He would not be the way he is now. He's only that way is because he's never had that situation happen. That situation makes people move different. It makes people think different. Straight up. The closest call WACK had was when Big U and the Crips caught him in the garage, you know, and they scared him at that moment. But it wasn't no fireworks. That's the thing. It wasn't no fireworks. When in all actuality, it should have been. It should have been fireworks. If it was fireworks in that situation, I think it would have calmed WACK down. You know, when jokers like WACK be having, you know, so much shit going on and beefing with motherfuckers, and they continue to do this, right? And there's never a firework. They're gonna keep doing what they're doing. WACK continues to do that because there was never no fireworks. Ever. I ain't heard nobody say no fireworks. I heard they caught WACK here, they smacked the shit out of him. They caught WACK here, they knocked him out. WACK is an individual that, hey, he gonna lie about the knockout. You can't lie about fireworks. Straight up. When it's fireworks, you can't lie. At all. Straight up. You can't lie about no fireworks, man. But WACK is definitely looking more and more like a clown every single day that he sit out here and think that he can manipulate, right? WACK said he ready take a break from the internet, right? And niggas ain't gonna have no content. Hey, WACK, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I hope you do, right? Because it's gonna fuck them niggas up. Then I'm gonna get the real light. Go ahead and take a break from the internet, right, WACK? Fall back and let me do this shit. So everybody can pay attention to what I'm doing. And the niggas that they can't use no content unless you say something. Nigga, I got so much shit that I can run. You cannot say nothing for 6 months straight, WACK, and I can still do content every single day. Straight up. This is like no cap. I got so much shit that WACK ain't gotta say nothing for 6 months. And I can go in every day, twice a day. Straight up. I ain't gonna lie. So I hope you take a little break, fall back, you know what I'm saying? So the people that's running your content, your media team, they go ahead and dry up a little bit. But I know you can't do that. You can't do it, WACK. So we gonna have double content. Straight up. You can't do it. We gonna have double the content. Yeah. We know how to do this shit though. And shout out to the people that be rocking with SBGB TV, man. You know, I appreciate y'all. That's a fact. You know, the real recognize the real. And if WACK takes a break from the internet and falls back, we know us going hard, right? And Dogface putting that pressure on WACK about that T Grizzly paperwork. Pent this nigga. Straight up. Pent him. You hear me? He on the mat. Pent him. If WACK take a break from the internet, we know that he on the mat and they did the count. Ding, 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 ding. Got him. So don't take a break, WACK. Don't do that. It's too early for that, man. Wait till they lock your ass up to take a break, man. Don't do this shit now. Because we gonna go till something happens. We got to go. And we getting louder. So we gotta go till something happens behind this shit. Yeah. Every single day. Till something happens. Nigga, I ain't never stopping. Nothing is gonna get me to stop. So we gotta go every single day until something happens behind this shit. Yeah, fuck that. WACK thought he had the internet figured out. That nigga thought, hey, man, can't nobody do nothing with me. Straight up, all these niggas know that done talked about WACK. Nigga, this shit just taking effect. Oh, yeah. And right. And y'all know that y'all been rocking me. I've been saying this shit for months. I'm like, I gotta keep going, y'all. I gotta keep going. I can't stop. Niggas like, yo, man, why you don't talk about nothing else? Nah. I gotta keep this joint going. You know, then I might talk about something different for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Goldie Loke called in. Goldie Loke said, hey, DZ, keep talking about that shit you was talking about. Keep talking about that, man. I don't care what these niggas say. Keep talking about what you was talking about, nigga. You got it. Straight up. You the chosen one. I said, okay. Let me make sure I stay on this shit. Don't let up. Nigga, you the chosen one. It's a lot of niggas that done talked about this nigga, but the way you break it down so everybody can understand it. Not just a certain group of people. You break it down so everybody can understand it, and you resonate with the people. You talk to the people. The people can access you. The people can have a conversation with you. The people feel like, yo, I can get in touch with these. Yeah. Y'all know y'all can text me. Y'all can send me anything. I'm a different individual, right? So this is why, you know, we stay going hard in the paint. Non-stop. And we not going to stop. We're going to make sure that something comes out of this. I can promise you this. I can promise you. We gonna make sure something come out of this. It's why we gonna go so hard. You hear me? Hard in the paint. Jay Reed, Marciano, they going forward on these niggas. As they should. Ain't no way that it should be cool for somebody to orchestrate something like that, right? Go back to the crime scene every week and act like ain't nothing gonna happen to me, nigga. I'm good. This nigga goes back to the crime scene every single week. Last week he was at the crime scene disrespecting Adam to the core. You white boy, we would have beat you up. You don't know what you talking about. Hold up. Nigga, you just said Loose Cannon was the devil. You just said Loose Cannon was the devil and he should have never did what he did. You at the crime scene, literally telling the owner of the building that you would have beat him up back in the day, that you would have whooped his ass. Hold up. This the same nigga that said Loose Cannon was the devil and he ain't do nothing. Come on, man. Make this shit make sense. Straight up. If you don't believe this nigga's police, you tripping. Huh? So you don't want to take ownership for what we seen you involved with, right? But you want to take credit for saying that y'all would have whooped Adam's ass. Yeah, we would have did this, you white boy, right? Talk to him like this. So when I hear WACK talk to him like that, right, on some real shit, I see that WACK somehow was extorting Adam softly. I think that Adam was getting extorted on a soft way, right? Now I'm gonna tell you, with the contract, straight up, yeah, I guarantee you that when WACK and Adam got the contract locked in, right, WACK made sure that he tweaked the contract a certain way. Now that's WACK's game of extorting certain individuals. The contract. This how he playing now. If he get a certain contract a certain way, where it's worded a certain way, where he feel like he got some control, those type of people like Adam, that's how he extort Adam. Through the contract shit. Straight up. Manipulate the contract a certain way, because all jokes aside, right? When that shit happened at No Jumper, where two people got robbed, stripped, beat, and pistol whipped, WACK should have been out of there. Ain't no way that WACK should have still been doing the podcast at No Jumper after that. No way. That nigga stayed there. Right? And then for him to sit there on camera and say that Jay Reed said on 11-8 Gangsta Crip, and these is neighborhoods and Gangsta Crips, so they deserve to get their ass whooped, right? After we seen him kick the foot, then we hear later that the pictures was taken of the blood, the evidence. They got pictures of all the evidence. I contacted Burbank myself. They sent me, okay, somebody called the police, right? But they said that's all I can get. You can't get no more than this. Yeah, somebody reported it. Okay. I'm like, that's all I can get? Yeah, that's all you can get. If you think that WACK100 is not the police, you bugging. Straight up. That nigga is the police. For sure. Yeah. And he running around the internet lining you goofy niggas up that give him the opportunity. Every goofy nigga that give WACK the opportunity to line him up, you the goofy. Because if you don't know he the police, then I know you can't see what an undercover look like. See, a lot of niggas don't understand that the feds, they be in regular clothes, right? They got the badge tucked in here, right? Literally. They be in regular clothes. They just how I'm looking right now, right? Looking scruffy, glasses on, hat on, right? But they be the feds, right? WACK100 running around with a badge. Now I'm gonna tell you, right? The feds followed me for months. When the feds ran up on me, it was 4 big white boys. Straight up, 4 big white boys. I'm walking after I just dropped the kids off first day of school. Dropped the kids off. They done followed me from the house now. Feds on my ass. They followed me from the crib. No cap. Now, this is the DEA, motherfucker. Head busters. They was outside the crib. I seen them, but I overlooked them. Like, hold up. I'm saying I overlooked them now. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was about to pull the frog out that day. I jumped in the frog. I started it up, right? Ready to take the youngins to school. But I said, all right, let me put the frog back in the garage. Boom. Jumped in the squatter. I jump in the squatter. I ride all the way down the highway. They follow me. 40-minute ride. They follow me. I drop the kids off at the school. I come out to school. First day of school now. I come out to school. 4 big white boys. They like coming from different angles, right? I'm walking to the car. I look back one time. I see them like coming like this. I look back again. They like this. DA. Oh, shit. Fuck me up. No cap. Regular shit. Regular shit. No cap. Grab me up. Boom. Right? They knew who I was on the phone with and everything. No cap. I'm on the phone. They like, yo, you on the phone with such and such. Man, hang that shit up. I'm like, oh, shit. Took the phone, took me, took my car, threw me in their car, took my shit. Shit was real. Them motherfuckers don't play no games, right? But they was trying to build the case, right? They was trying to put me in somebody else's case. You hear me? Now, DZ always been a buck, like a solid nigga. I've been to trial 5 times. Yeah, I picked them. 5 times I picked a jury of 12. Yeah, I've been there 5 times. Stomach hurting, sick, I'm feeling it. I gotta get in here. You know, I'm gonna tell you, every time I've been to trial, right? I sit there and I never try to look at the jury. Never. At all. I'm sitting there straight ahead. I don't try to smile. I don't try to smirk. I don't try to make no facial expressions. I've been in there 5 motherfucking times. Every time I'm like this, straight ahead. All I try to do is stare at the prosecutor and the judge. Straight up. Yeah. Ain't never took the stand. Every time it came to the end, they say, you want to take the stand? No, my client ain't taking the stand. Nah, he ain't taking no stand, motherfucker. We gonna let the jury pick this motherfucker. Every single time, shit get real. See, them people, they be in regular clothes, man. When they picked me the fuck up, right? They took me down to the spot. Took me down to the spot. And they was just talking to me, right? And I'm just listening. No response. I'm just letting them talk, right? Letting them talk. Just sitting there. Yeah, the car ride, right? All the way to the motherfucking headquarters like this. Legs shaking like a motherfucker. You hear me? I'm like, God damn, to myself, right? Because I already know when it gets sticky, nigga, you got to get mute. You don't say nothing. Yeah. Ain't nothing for me to ask, answer, or nothing. If I'm here, you already got me. Y'all got me already. I'm here. Ain't nothing for me to talk about. A lot of these niggas getting there, they want to explain. There's nothing for you to talk about. When you get locked up, understanding there's nothing for you to talk about. Straight up. I don't give a fuck if you asking me what I had to eat earlier. I don't care if you asking me how was my day. Nigga, that's what they trained to do, to get you comfortable to start asking you questions. Yeah, they was talking to me all the way there. I'm like this, straight up, all the way there. I ain't saying shit. Ain't nothing for us to talk about. Yeah. Now I'm telling y'all a real life, real situation. I get all the way down there. They got me in some bombed out shit. Windshield tinted, everything. Shit they threw me in, bombed out, jet black. And they driving my shit. Now I just dropped the kids off first day of school now. First day of school, I just dropped the kids off. Yeah. They followed me all the way there. They say, all right, this is the day we gonna take him, right? Now, this is no cap. Now, mind you, 3 months before this, I took him. No cap now. 3 months before this, I took him. Took him. And they know I took him. They was on my ass. I went through the city and I got to get low. They was on my ass. I spotted them. I took them. So when they came and grabbed me 3 months later, they said, you motherfucker. The only reason you got away, motherfucker, is because we didn't have our fucking guys in place. This is no cap now. This is no cap. Now they was watching like a motherfucker. Straight up. They watched me for that 3 months. You hear me? Cold turkey, nigga. I'm one of them niggas. Cold turkey. Oh yeah. I knew they was watching. Right? So that 3 months, they was in the gym with me. Everything right next to me. They probably even asked me, did I need something? Just to think about it. They in the gym with me and everything, right? No cap. They probably like, yo, I'm sitting there thinking, because I got to see them afterwards though, right? So I'm in the motherfucking joint after they grabbed me up, after the 90 days went by, right? When they sit outside the crib and they grab me. So I'm down at the joint. They like, yo, we want the big man. I'm just sitting there like this. Say, we don't want you. We want the big man. I'm just sitting there like this. No cap. They like, we got you. We got you on the phone conversation. You want to hear it? I said, yeah. Right? So they go pull this shit out, right? They say, press play. They press play on this conversation, right? So the conversation, hey, yo, I thought it was it. I said, it's it. It's it right here. These niggas said they got me on the conversation. Damn. I said, this is it right here. It's over. I'm going down. You hear me? I said, hey, Ray, this is a 30 ball. Hey, Ray, take a nigga 30 ball. It's over. That's it, nigga. They got me, motherfucker. Right? They hit the conversation on. The motherfucking conversation say, it's me saying, back up. Yo, back up. I hear the conversation. All I said was back up. I said, that's it? They said, yeah. We want to read you your rights. So they read me my rights, right? I said, I'ma follow what's on the paper right there. Right? They said, you don't want to talk to us? I said, I'm gonna follow what's on the paper, what you just read to me. Right? They said, you can trust us. You hear me? They said, you can trust us. Right? I said, hold up. He said, yeah, you can trust us. Now, it's 5 of these motherfuckers. Now, this is the head busters, nigga. This ain't them peewees, motherfucker. Straight up. This is the head busters. They got me in this motherfucker here. Some other shit. Right? So, I'm sitting there while the motherfuckers is saying, yo, you can trust me, right? I said, I'm gonna tell you like this. Now, this is the only thing I said. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a bad motherfucker. I say, listen here, man. I'm gonna tell you a little story. I said, I was riding down the highway one day, right? And I was doing like 60, 70. I'm rolling, right? And I farted. And I almost shit on myself. If I ride around with my asshole every single day and I can't trust this motherfucker, I can't trust a soul. They said, huh? You don't want to talk to us? I said, I'm going to follow what's on the paper. You know what them motherfuckers said? You know what they said? Come on. Man, we got to take your picture. And we going to fingerprint you. And let me out the fucking back door. You hear me? See, they thought that I was going to make a case for myself, which a lot of these niggas out here, WACK100 of them niggas, that's what they would have done. They would have sat there and been scared and start talking, saying shit because they was scared. Now listen here. They let me out the back door, took my phone down, took my phone. I'm like, yo, why y'all taking my phone? Right? They said, we keeping this. I'm like, for what? What did I do? Nah, we keeping your phone, right? Let me out the back door, said, motherfucker, the only reason you fucking got away is because we ain't have our fucking guys in place, right? Now, I told y'all 3 months before that, I took them. Straight up, I took them now. This is no cap. You hear me? And whoever the driver was on the road that jumped behind me when I made the right, I don't know who it is. The good Lord was with me, right? Shout out to them. I don't know who the driver was, right? But I took them down. I took them down. No cap. A nigga jumped behind me. I seen they was on my ass. And they was playing this game. I don't know what they call it, but it was a game where they had about 4 or 5 of these motherfuckers, right? I'm a bad motherfucker. I'm a law-abiding citizen now, right? I don't want no smoke. I'm living by the law, right? I'm a bad motherfucker though. They had like 4 or 5 of these motherfuckers. No cap. What they would do was, and I knew it was them because they was always bombed out. Like they was 5% windshield, everything. Like everything was super bombed out. So I knew it was them because when I was riding, because they followed me all the way down the highway, right? No cap. They followed me all the way down the fucking highway. And I seen them coming down the highway. I'm on the phone with my folks. I said, man, it's it. It's over. I said, it's it, nigga. It's over. I said, man, just pay my mortgage, man. It's over, nigga. If you can, my nigga, just pay my mortgage, nigga. It's over. Nigga said, what? I said, this them. This it, nigga. It's over. I'm done. You hear me? It's no cap. It's the real deal. So when I get off the highway, I'm still on the phone with my folks. I'm like, yo, this is it, nigga. I get off the highway. I'm going through the city now. They got one on my ass, right? But they got the other ones behind her. So I go down a couple blocks. The nigga on my ass, he turn off. Another nigga jump behind me, right? I go down a couple blocks. That nigga turn off. The nigga that was on my ass before jumped back on my ass. I'm like, damn, it's that same motherfucker. It's them. This is it, nigga. It's over. I'm done. It's over. They was playing, you know, the layback, right? But they following me, but they like right behind me. I get through the city. I bust a turn, right? When I bust a turn, I come to the light. I go around this car that had the blinker on. So I like jumped in front of the nigga and bust the right. And he jumped behind me, whoever it was. Man, shout out to that person right there. Word, whoever that was, I wish I could look the fuck out for him, on God. Because it was over. It was it. I ain't gonna lie, it was it. This is no cap. And I know if they see this shit, which they probably will, they're gonna say, this motherfucker. You hear me? I bust the motherfucking right? When I bust the right, I punched it. Now I'm in the city. I punched the motherfucker. I get down a couple blocks, hit the joint, punch the motherfucker. Get down 2 blocks, hit the joint, turned it, punched the motherfucker. Went around the corner, ran 3 lights. They was all red, nigga. They was all red. I don't give a fuck what was coming. I ran every fucking light. Boom, boom, boom. Bust the left. Took off. Ran every stop sign up that motherfucker. Woo! Bust the right. Went back here, right? I get out the car. I come back around, right? As I'm walking back up to the car, they pulling up. You hear me? As I'm walking back to the car. Now, I done went crazy through the city. Got out. Got back in, right? As I'm going to grab the door handle, they pulling up. Now, I know they had a tracker on me. They had to have a tracker on my phone or something. It was a tracker or something. I walk back to the car, grab the door handle, they pulling up. Now, they pulling up. Now, they done dropped their windows. You hear me? I can see these niggas now, right? They like this. Nice and calm. Calm than a motherfucker. They just like this, looking at me, right? As I get back in the car, I threw the car in reverse, right? These motherfuckers moved out the way and let me go by and just disappeared. Yo, y'all know how fucked up I was? I was fucked up. No cap. 3 months later is when they came and picked me up. Straight up. No cap. Took my phone. Now I'm talking about WACK. Going hard in the paint about WACK. I get a letter from these niggas 8 years later saying, come get your phone. What the fuck? Now I'm talking about WACK being the police, going hard in the paint, talking about WACK is the feds. Now the feds is saying, come get the phone. Come get what phone? Then they said, come get this iPhone. Nigga, I ain't never had an iPhone in my day of my life. Hold up. iPhone where? Straight up. Now after they picked me up, right? 3 months later, I'm in the gym. Because I was in the gym getting brolic. They had already knew that because they was in the gym with me. Straight up. They in the gym. After they picked me up, I tell my folks, yo, they picked me up. What the fuck, what happened? Yo, these motherfuckers, man, they was everywhere, right? I said, yo, they probably been in the gym with us, nigga. He like, you think so? I'm like, damn right. Nigga, we go to the gym. I see the nigga in the gym. No cap. I said, there the nigga go right there. I said, fuck it. I'm gonna go ask the nigga for my phone back. Straight up. I said, yo, what's up with my phone? Y'all took my phone. I know ain't nothing in the phone. Straight up. I know this shit. I ain't, nigga, that's the rule, nigga. Hold up. We ain't messing with that phone, nigga. That's the rule. That phone ain't it. You can take my phone whenever you want to take it. Nigga, you ain't gonna find no criminal shit in my phone. Ever. Nigga. Not me. Nigga, I'm gonna tell y'all something, right? For the ones that don't know. Your friends and your phone, they gonna send your ass to jail if you don't pay attention. Those are the sources that the police use, the feds use to get you. Your friends and your phone, family members, people in your phone. Everybody don't understand that shit, right? I do. Straight up. That's why I tell you I don't be fucking with nobody. I don't fuck with nobody. Especially when I was out there in the world. Hell no, I don't give a fuck. Right? Because you can't fight nothing, right? When you got somebody, you know, that's close to you going against you. You can't fight nobody. How you gonna fight? You can't fight the case. Right? So, I asked the nigga about my phone. The nigga say, here, call down there. They gonna give it back to you, right? You know I ain't do shit. I'm like, fuck it. Let me call this motherfucker. I called the number. I said, yo, what's up with my phone? Man, the nigga that said I could get my phone back wasn't like the nigga I called. The nigga I called, that motherfucker said, you ain't getting shit back, motherfucker. And we coming back to get you. Said, oh, shit. You hear me? Scared the nigga shitless. I said, fuck you, motherfucker. And hung up, right? I ain't seen them motherfuckers niggas since. Straight up. I ain't seen them since. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Bless Naja Beauty. Appreciate that super chat. Easy storytelling skills is on 10. Keep it captivating. The crowd and dropping that heat, Valley. SBTV TV all the way. Appreciate you. Big facts. You hear me? Yeah, I ain't seen them motherfuckers since. Till I'm talking about WACK, I get a letter from these motherfuckers. You hear me? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But people don't understand, right? Your phone and the people you associate yourself with is how they lock you the fuck up. Yeah. And they got these social sites and shit like that. Niggas be on here committing crimes. So, you know, this how they gonna get you. Crime don't pay. You know, a lot of people don't understand that you got to learn how to get that shit up at some point in your life. I done been through a lot of shit, right? But one thing I can say, right? I ain't never been convicted of no work. You hear me? That's one thing I can say. I had my time. Been out there. I ran around. You hear me? On a whole nother level. But I ain't never been convicted of no work. And just me being honest tonight, right? I always understood this about the streets, about keeping people away from you, right? And if you have a situation, right, you always have to cause a diversion. Straight up. Now, I ain't telling nobody, to go out there and be a criminal, because I say, leave the streets alone and get the streets up. The streets ain't it. But I always kept in my mind that if I ever have a situation, you always have to cause a diversion. You always have to do some other shit so that you can have a case to fight. Because if you just sit there and give up, you don't have no fight. But if you cause a diversion, something that you got a chance to fight. And everybody don't understand that, because a lot of these niggas, they not street niggas. They just out there running around the street. So they don't understand that shit, right? But I did when I was out there. And I'm just thankful that I made it through that part of my fucking life. I'm very thankful. You hear me? And I made it through being a solid nigga. I made it through. I'm one of the few. It's niggas that made it through. But I'm one of the few that made it through and really lived it. I had some bumps along the way, but I always went to trial. And they know that. They know. I had some bumps along the way, but I always went to trial every fucking time. I never, ever, ever in my life allowed an attorney to dictate how my criminal proceeding would go. A lot of these niggas think that all you do is get an attorney and you're gonna be all right. That is totally incorrect. That is totally incorrect. You have to do your own homework when you have a situation, because the attorneys don't care about you. It's business. Once they get your money, hey, if I get you a plea, I get paid, and I help the prosecutors out because they're my friends. They get a conviction, I get money, we keep the cycle going. You get on probation, you violate, we do this all over again. It's a cycle. You hear me? The hand of one is the hand of all. Yeah. And I got a lot of situations I've been through, right? You hear me? Now that situation that I just talked to y'all about, I could have been still sitting for 30 ball. You hear me? The Lord was with me, got me through, gave me some understanding, and I got another chance at life without doing life. You hear me? Yeah. Ain't never told on nobody. Ever. Straight up. Because that's my style. Y'all see, I keep niggas the fuck away from me. Because I know what it is. Straight up. Niggas is going straight put you in the hot seat to say themselves. Deezy went to trial with other niggas testifying on me that did the shit. Now, ain't none of these niggas pull that paperwork up, right? Because they probably don't want to pull that up. They don't want to run the content on me on that, right? But I went to trial literally, and the niggas that did the shit testified on me. And I stood solid like a motherfucker. You hear me? Straight up. I'm like in there like this. Never explained the shit to the attorney. I never explained the fucking case to the attorney, right? What niggas need to understand, right? If you explain your case to your attorney, remember the prosecutors are their friends. They won't throw a hint out there if they feel like you guilty. Prosecutors, they friends. Nigga, you don't explain shit. You find the angle to fight your case on which you want to go at your case, right? And that's the angle you tell your attorney. You do your own homework and you rumble your shit. A lot of these niggas don't understand that shit though. A lot of these niggas out here playing in the streets, right? And don't even know no laws. They don't know shit. They out here playing the game of the law, but don't know the law. And then get scared to rumble. Scared. Straight up. Man, I'm proud to be who I am, right? Real life shit. I've been through a lot of shit and I'm proud to be who I am. You know, it makes me who I am. It gives me the ability to speak real shit, you know, and it gives me the clarity of what the fuck I ain't gonna go through again. You hear me? Yeah. You know, because I'd never go through what I went through. Yeah, I'd never go through. Had many nights, you know, that I done went to war, right? Straight up. Many nights that I done went to war with them people, went hard in the paint. Yeah. You know, because I ain't got no problem with studying, researching, you know, to fight for my life. If the lawyers see you don't care about your own life, why would they care about your life? Every attorney I ever had know that I cared about my life. And every attorney I had tried to get me to take a plea. Straight up. Yeah, take this plea. Yeah. I ain't been convicted of anything in 20 years. You hear me? Now they had a lot of rumbling in between that 20, right? But I ain't been convicted of nothing in 20 years. You hear me? I had some traffic shit. Yeah. But not no criminal felony shit. Hell no. But I had a lot of, you know, close calls. And I'm proud as hell that I woke up the way I did, man. Straight up. Just keeping it a buck. You know, I'd have had some close situations, man. Yeah. I remember one time, right? I was up all night. Man, this is why I could do this shit, right? You hear me? This is why I could do this shit. Because I'm built for this shit, right? I remember one time I was up all night long. Getting it, nigga. Getting it. Yeah. That's why my grind was different. You hear me? Yeah. I'm up when niggas is asleep, right? So it was one time I was up. I'm running around the clock. You hear me? And the light came up. It was light out then. Motherfuckers is going to work. They going to work like a motherfucker. And I'm up, running around. I'm circling the block. I'm running around, circling, running around. I'm up all night. You hear me? Phone going crazy. You hear me? Going crazy. Right? So I see them people and they locked eyes. Now it's me and my folks. We outside. They locked eyes. They busted Kodak. I'm like, damn. They looking. My folks like, yo, we ready to jump on this highway. Fuck it. You hear me? So he busted Cowboy. They bust one, he bust one. They didn't hit the gas. Ooh. He busted Cowboy, he hit the gas. Ooh. Right? Jump on the highway. We like, fuck it. We ready to try to hit the bridge, right? We ready to go over the bridge. You know what I'm saying? They get on the nigga ass. I'm like, they coming, nigga. They got us. They coming, nigga. We up all night. They swing us. Woo! 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 Right? So they swing us. Pull over, right? They get us out the car. You know, I try to get my tuck game right? Try to get my tuck game right. They got us out the car, man. What y'all doing? I mean, man, what you got us for, man? Then they start stripping me outside. You hear me? They start stripping me, right? Like, oh, man, we outside. What's up with this? So they say they found something, right? I'm like, man, I ain't had shit. You talking about? Man, we found it on you, and I ain't had shit. What you talking about? They booked me, right? When they booked me, I'm like, man, I'm going to war with this. Shit. Nigga, they stripped me outside. Went to war, just like I said, and said it was a legal search and seizure. They took my clothes off outside. Y'all know what happened. Spanking ass. You hear me? Spanking ass. Y'all strip me outside. You can't strip me outside. Y'all take me to the station to do that. And there was no reason for you to take me to the station. But these are the things that people don't be knowing. Straight up. And then they scared to go to war. Nigga, I find any reason, I'm going to fuck the war. Yeah. A lot of these niggas be scared them off. Man, I'm going to take a plea. They ready to take a plea off. Man, I'm not taking a plea to shit. Hey, man. If it's my time, it's my time, nigga. Straight up. If it's my time, it's my time, nigga. Send me on up. You hear me? Send me up. No cap. Yeah. Let me tell y'all another one. Right? Tell y'all another one. Now, this time right here. No cap. So, I was back out there, right? Back out there, running around, shit. And I was fresh out from doing the Tracy. Nigga did a tray ball. You hear me? 3-piece McNugget. You hear me? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I did a 3-piece McNugget because I blew something the fuck up. Straight up. Yeah. I blew it the fuck up. Yeah. Right? Motherfucker keep playing, so fuck it. Let me blow this motherfucker up. Hey. Now I did the trade ball for it, right? I did my time, right? So I'm back out. Nigga gotta get back. I'm running around now. Running around. You hear me? I'm running around. It's no cap. So I'm running around. Hard. Now, I'm running around everywhere. I'm on every side of town, right? Hopping out on shit. Yo, what's up? Come here. Yo, come here. Here, get with me. Yo, get with me. Get with me. Get with me. Get with me. Right? I ran into somebody that was fufafa. I'm running hard. I ain't know they was Fufafi though, right? So I run into somebody that's Fufafi after I'm running around all night. They hit me, yo, all right, be out there, be out there. I come out, right? So as I'm going out, right, I see something funny. I'm like, you know, you can sense it. Man, something ain't right. Something ain't right. I go back this motherfucker anyway. Like, damn, something ain't right. I stop back there. I see the unmarked shits. Regular shits all bombed out, and they was in different spots around the area, right? So I say, I still bust the move, right? Man, fuck it. I jump back in the car. When I jump back in the car, I said, damn. Because soon as I jump back in the car, they start coming right behind me. So I get to the light. It's about 4 of these motherfuckers. They all lined up. Everything bombed out. I said, damn, it's it, nigga. You know, I can feel it when it's real trouble. I said, it's it. Now I'm close by the crib now. I'm close by the spot. I go through the light. As soon as I go through the light, they hit the discos. Woo, 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 woo. Right? And they in motherfucking unmarked shit. So all you see is discos, nigga. I'm like, damn, he got me, right? I'm still driving. Now they got discos. Everybody got discos on now. I ain't stopped. I'm still driving. You hear me? I drive all the way to the crib. Fuck it. I was probably like about 2-3 minutes from the crib. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to the crib. Shit. I get to the crib, right? I pull up in the driveway. They jump out. Freeze! On some WACK100 shit. 600 shit. Freeze! Put your hands out the window! Get out the car! Yo, grab the cuffs. All that shit, right? So, I'm like, yo, what's up? Why you ain't stopped? Man, I thought this was some niggas. These is regular cars. I thought it was niggas. I thought it was niggas playing. I wanted to make sure I got home in case it was some niggas trying to do something to me. Because literally, I know a nigga that had it and his peoples threw the discos on him, right? And grabbed him up and tried to kidnap the nigga. Right? So I'm like, man, shit, I thought it was them people. I thought it was some niggas. Right? So they like, get out the car, right? Pull me out the car. Oh, shit, right? Threw me all up. Oh, come on, man. Damn. My shit got me all him the fuck up. Oh, chill. I ain't do nothing, man. Slam a nigga on the ground. Poop, pop, all that shit, right? Like, oh, man, what the fuck? You ain't stopped. You kept going. Like, yo, calm down, man. I ain't do shit, right? So they threw the cuffs on me, right? Threw me in the back of the motherfucking, in the car. Now they running through the car, right? My folks in the crib. She didn't come out. Yo, what's up? Oh, yeah. You ready to lock him up, right? I'm like, damn. I'm on probation and everything. You hear me? I'm on probation and everything. So they searching through the car. They say they find something, right? This what they say now. They like, we found something, right? Like, found what? And I ain't had shit, right? You know, nigga was playing, you know what I'm saying? I'm on point. So they took me down to the station. So when they take me down to the motherfucking station, they say they found something, right? They like, you gonna get violated. They say we gonna have to violate your probation, right? you gonna get violated. I'm like, for what? I ain't do shit. Y'all violate. Yeah, we gonna have to contact your PO, right? So the nigga say to me, right? Y'all know I'm a bad motherfucker. Y'all know this. So the nigga say to me, right? No cap. He say, you can help yourself though, right? He said, we don't want you, right? We want the big fish, right? And you can help yourself. I'm like, what you mean? He like, man, just give us a name, right? The nigga say, just give us a name and we can help you out. Cause if not, we gonna have to call your PO and violate you, right? I'm like, I ain't do shit. He like, all right, sit right here. I'll be right back. We'll have to call your PO, right? The nigga say, you sure you don't want to help us? I said, listen here, sir. Maybe I need to go to jail, right? That's how I rock this shit. I'm a bad motherfucker, right? I said, maybe I need to go to jail, sir. Maybe I need to go to jail. I need to see if my mom gonna be here for me. I need to see if my dad gonna be here for me. I need to see if my family love me. Maybe I need to go to jail. And that motherfucker looked at me like, what? I said, yeah, man, I'm ready to go to jail, man. Fuck this shit. The nigga walked out, right? Pulled the door down there closed and said, you got somebody come get you? I said, damn right. I said, oh, they tried me. See, that's why I be telling people, right? It's their game. You got to understand they playing dirty. I ain't do nothing wrong, but they wanted me to trick myself into playing myself, right? And I know I ain't had no case. Straight up. These motherfuckers let me sit in the lobby, call somebody come get me, and I was out of there. That easy. But I could have got myself in a whole situation for having a conversation with them. Niggas don't be understanding that shit. You hear me? It's a dirty game. It's a dirty, dirty game. Yeah. But I'm glad that, you know, I was able to make it through that motherfucker. Yeah. I was able to make it through that motherfucker there. Yeah. You know, I appreciate all of y'all that be rocking with me, man. Yeah. If you haven't smashed the like button, hit that like button. You know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. But I go to war, man. Every single time. I go to war. I ain't playing no games. Yeah. You know. But I don't get into nothing no more. You know, I've been through the shit I've been through. You know. And I got stories for days because I really was out there. You know, real life stories. You know what I mean? So I'm just happy that I made it through all the adversities. And, you know, I'm able here to, you know, talk about the stories that I've been through. You know, the things that, you know, made me me. The shit I've been through. The shit that, you know, made me stronger. And gave me some understanding why not to mess with the streets. You know, it's a lot of people out there, right? Still in the street. Yeah. Fortunately, right? I was one of the guys that was able to make it through. Yeah. and made it through, solid as they come. Solid as they come, man. Straight up. Yeah. I did that shit, man. But we gonna talk about the situation with Cowboy in a second. And I'm gonna put the video up there and we gonna react to it in a second, man. Yeah. We gonna react to it in a second, man. Real shit, though. Real shit, man. Damn. That shit be taking me somewhere else when I be thinking about that shit, though. I ain't gonna lie. That shit be taking me, because all the situations I've been through, you know, it just like take me somewhere else, man. Make me think about this shit like, man, them streets, they had you like sucked in. They had you sucked in. And you really playing like a losing game. You playing a losing game. Yeah. You playing a losing game. Facts. Yeah. And you know, but what I can say is, you know, the good thing about it is, I know a few niggas that definitely made it through. You know, I know a few niggas that made it through, that, you know, changed their life. You know, that really been through some shit out there that changed their life. Yeah. You know. And I gave a few of my niggas the courage to start going to trial. You know, my niggas will tell you, man, that nigga DZ going to trial. They will tell you that. I don't give a fuck what the lawyers say. I don't give a fuck about nothing. My niggas will tell you that nigga gonna go to trial. Yeah. You know, the attorneys that I had, and no, I done had one attorney I had him on 3 different situations. That motherfucker like, yo, man, goddamn, you fight everything. Yes, sir. Yeah, I had a situation I called him for one time. He like, man, I know I'm busy right now, man. Because he know. They be used to people just taking a plea and stuff like that. But he knew, man, this nigga here gonna go all the way. Yeah, nigga. We ain't doing that. I ain't taking no plea. None of that shit. Yeah. And been 20 years. You know, I had some traffic shit along the way. I got convicted of some traffic shit. Yeah. But 20 years, man. 20 years. DZ here to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I could tell my stories. And stand on it. You know what I mean? But the real ones, they recognize me, man. You know what I'm saying? The real ones do. The people that's foo-fafi, they'll never understand me. They'll never understand me. I don't resonate with them. You know what I mean? Nah. Yeah, I'm too like real. Solid people, they can tell. You know? And yeah. I was trying to think if I was going to tell y'all one more of my stories that I've been through before I start talking about Cowboy. But I was trying to think if I was going to tell y'all one more of my damn stories, man. Yeah. I was trying to think about which one I wanted to say. Real shit. Yeah. And just, you know, my truth is my truth, man. Yeah, so That's all I know, man. My truth is my truth. Yeah. Niggas that know me know. I done had plenty of cases, but I'm a fighting nigga. I'm a fighting nigga. All my niggas that know me, they'll tell you that. They're like, man, that nigga gonna fight. That nigga gonna go to war. I be trying to tell them when they had cases, nah, nigga, this how you go at it. But a lot of people, they get that feeling like they scared to go all the way, you know, because, you know, it take a lot of heart. It take a lot of heart, man, to go all the way with a case, you know, because they scare you. They start telling you this and, you know, saying you can get this. And it just take a lot of heart to be a fighter, you know, and I'm one of those guys. Yeah. You know, when I was running around the street, I always kept people away from me, right? Like, real shit. You know, because I always thought about the Rico. I always thought about the Rico. I always thought about that. Out in the street, I always thought about the Rico. You hear me? Whenever I see niggas clicking up, I always thought about the Rico. And guess what? A lot of them came. A lot of them. A lot of jokers. And I say that, you know, on this side over here, there's a lot of Rico cases that they fucking get jokers on. They get a lot of Ricos over here. A lot of them. A lot of them. You know? And I always thought about that shit. Like, I stayed away from, like, cliques and shit like that. So, I would keep myself out of that. You know, they try to pull me into the Rico shit. I see shit, I'm staying away from that. No. Anytime niggas was like doing shit together and shit, I wouldn't go. I ain't going. If I know I was around some negative niggas doing some shit, I would never go to anything that they got going on. I would never be in no damn music videos. None of that. Niggas used to try to, you know, get me to be in their music videos or use my cars and shit. I'm like, nigga, no you not. All I would think about is Rico. Like, nigga, I ain't getting in that shit. I'm not getting in your video. Not me, nigga. And I think by me thinking like that, it really got me through a lot of shit. For real. Got me through a lot of shit. Because I know a lot of niggas that got that. No, a lot of niggas that got that. Yeah. No, a lot of niggas that got that shit, man. For real. Yeah, man. Hit that subscribe button, man, and smash that like button, man. Let me see here. Let's see here. Hold up. Hit that like button, man. Shout out to all y'all. Shout out to all y'all. For real. Shout out to all y'all, man. A lot of close calls in my life, but I'm here. Well, enough of that. You know, Cowboy said WACK is them people, which I agree. I totally agree that WACK is the folks. Totally. You know, Cowboy said WACK is them people. And y'all let me know. Do y'all feel that way? Now, I left a poll in the chat, right? You know, if it was a squabble to the knockout between Cowboy and WACK, make sure y'all leave your answer in the chat on the poll and let me know what you think. You know what I'm saying? If it was a squabble to the knockout between WACK and Cowboy. Let me know who y'all think would go. You know what I'm saying? I need to know this shit. And I gotta check that out. After I, react to this right here, we gonna check that out. Yeah. After we react to this, we gonna check that out. If anybody said WACK, that let me know, right, that WACK Millions is over here. Straight up. Because I don't see WACK doing nothing with Cowboy. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't see WACK doing nothing with it. Not at all. Not at all. I think I would put everything I own on it. That Cowboy would knock WACK out. Yeah. Straight up. I would take that risk. Just because I see Cowboy ain't got no problem with squabbling. Cowboy ain't got no problem with squabbling. He gonna get down. You know what I mean? WACK talk that shit, that nigga gonna get down, man. I love that. The nigga gonna rumble. I don't see the nigga talking about getting the strap. He gonna pop something. I see the nigga going, you know what I'm saying? I love that. If you got a disagreement with somebody, get out there and get your shit on. I really love that. Win, lose, or draw, get out there and get your shit on. I can't stand these coward ass niggas that talk about they gonna get somebody to do something and all that shit. Them niggas is cowards. If you really, really like that, nigga, get out there and get your shit rocking. Throw your hands up and get out there and get down, nigga. Win, lose, or draw now. Get out there and throw them motherfuckers. If you like that, you like that. So I know WACK ain't like that, nigga. WACK is paying people to do this and paying people to do that, and you got a team of this and team of that, nigga. Nigga, you really can't fight. Now, you'll defend yourself. I understand that, because most people will defend themselves. But niggas that can fight, nigga, you gonna see them punch on some shit. Yeah, I gotta punch on some shit. I ain't paying nobody to do nothing. I'm gonna bust your motherfucking shit open. If you like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of these motherfuckers be foo-faffy. Let's see what Cowboy talking about, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, man.
So let me tell you how the feds work, so I can let you know how we know for a fact WACK100, Eddie Boy 600 is definitely working with them boys.
They working with them boys. They working with them boys. Smash that like button, that subscribe button, man.
Hey, all my little homies out there, man, I want y'all to analyze y'all big homies. Get at your big homies, analyze your big homies, and see who raised you. Because a couple of these big homies that raised me, a couple big homies that I used to look up to, kind of find out later in the game all these is faulty. You know what I mean? So what type of big homie do you want to be? You know what I mean? You gonna be one of them big homies that's gonna continue to push the negativity, or you gonna be a big homie that's gonna teach the youngsters how not to go to prison? All right, what type of big homie are you? So I look at big homies like Buster ass Eddie Boy, and you ain't did nothing for the hood but send homies to prison. You ain't did nothing. Now out here doing positive change. We done changed the community. That had jobs in the community, had it popping, and now they're still scrutinizing, looking up something negative. How you gonna find something negative in a whole positive environment? So you got these just tearing down something positive that we had, and just talking. They didn't know NIMP. They wasn't around when we was doing our thing. So these just on the sideline, just talking, trying to get their likes up. How you gonna speak on you don't even know? You know what I mean? I hate getting online and I gotta get roared up for these buster ass that I really don't know. You really don't know me. You wasn't even a part of none of the movement. So how you gonna critique the movement that we did on Slauson? One thing we did on Slauson, we made millions. and you, the big homie, whatever you supposed to be, you didn't do that. You didn't make no millions on slossing. So let me tell you how the feds work, so I can let you know how we know for a fact WACK100, Eddie Boy 600 is definitely working with them boys. So y'all go back and replay the tape before Big U got locked up. 24 hours before they raided, cuz Eddie and Wack all the posted that cuz was getting raided. They didn't raid this shit till the next day. So how did y'all have that information about cuz shit getting raided and y'all posted that shit before the raid even happened? Then when it was happening the next day, y'all was circling around. Think about that. How did y'all know 48 hours prior to cuz getting raided and y'all posted that shit? Then the raid happened. Y'all posted it before they even raided. So now, you got the Eddie guy. I know for a fact he working with them boys. He's in court doing what he got to do. So now, he been looking at Cowboy trying to figure out what kind of smut he could do. So when you can't find how the feds work, when they can't find no smut on you, now niggas start trying to look at my financials. How Cowboy making all this money? How Cowboy doing it? Oh, that's some fed shit. Now you want to work on my financials. You know, when they got them big dogs, what they get them on? Taxes. Like that. You feel me? So now when Cowboy ain't doing no dirt, Cowboy ain't doing nothing wrong. So you can get the feds all the leads you want. So now, let's check cuz financials. That's what these know. So that's how I know for a fact who you working for. Cuz how cuz make that money on sloss and making millions? You big homies never did that. Never. So you can't tell me nothing about this hood that we trying to change. So if you want to keep the hood killing each other, you keep on with that propaganda. You know, and it's always a that don't even be in the hood that's speaking on the hood. So the homies out there, nigga, if you don't see these internet, there's a difference between an internet and a that's really out here in the streets. You know, a celebrity, that's a celebrity. That don't mean, you know, a street that got famous, he's still a street, bro. You know what I mean? So these become celebrities and they want to prove so hard that they street, so hard that they hood. Stop it. Just stay in your lane. Because the that's really in these streets, these that's really been about that life, we looking for change. Feel me? It's always a that ain't never did nothing, ain't gonna do nothing, scary, don't want no change. Oh, I ain't squabbing, nigga, I ain't doing no squabbing. Bust your ass Nina, that Nina, you know what I mean, that Buster. You know what I mean? Hey, thanks for that feedback on my East Coast.
Now I rock with Nina Boy. I ain't got nothing against Nina Boy, so I don't know what he got against Nina, but I rock with Nina though.
Back in with me. I'm glad y'all let me know that cuz is not official. I'm glad y'all let me know that, bro. You know what I mean? Shout out to all my East Coast Crips, all them niggas. You know, shout out to the East Coasters that won't change. Shout out to the Hoovers that won't change. Shout out to all my Bloods that won't change. Any that won't change. That's been out here in these streets, we won't change. We coming together. All that trying to backbite and break us up, no, we ain't doing that. Bloods, Crips, all that, we coming together. And if you don't like it, get out the way. Get out the way. You know, in Los Angeles, we've been killing each other too long. Too long. Somebody better step up. Bloods, Crips, Hoovers, everybody. It's time to stop this, bro. Stop the. Look at the instigators that's instigating this. Our own people claiming they from the hood. Nah, we ain't going for that. We gonna come together as a team, and all these that's against us, they gonna have issues. I want Bloods, Crips, Hoovers. That's a community. We could lose all them titles. We could lose all them titles. We just black men. We one big tribe out here killing each other, bro. And these still with the propaganda. They never was hood. Never did. Because you went to prison don't mean you was nothing. Eddie Boy, you went to prison. We was on that same yard. You know, you was on the B yard. My bad. You was working at the program office with the police. You was on that yard. I was on the A yard. My bad. I forgot we was on different yards. Yeah. And you didn't want to come on our yard. Yeah. So stop it. So a lot of these niggas want to silence me because I know their history. You don't want me talking. You don't want me to tell your backstory because you ain't never did nothing for the hood but get the homies locked up. Got niggas 30 years. Now you been gone 16, 18 years. How you speaking up on anything? If you been gone over a decade, how you gonna speak on anything? Big dummy. Like I said, we know where to find you at the courtroom, bro. We know where to find you. These hypocrites. All these hypocrites. Talking about what they would do. They don't talk to this and this, yada, yada, yada. You hypocrites, bro. Yeah. But the streets recognize, though. That's the one thing these streets is recognizing. Streets don't lie. Top of the morning. What's up, nephew? Now they running around some more. WACK100. He the Epstein. He the new Epstein. He got he got all the files. He got all the files. Wack is the ringleader. He got all the files. He's like Epstein. You know what I mean? Nigga got all the files. Nigga release the files, then. If you got tapes of bro, nigga release the files. Yeah, Wack Epstein, release the files. And if the homie was doing some gay shit on there and you watching it, you gay too. So stop it. Yeah, so you sitting there watching gay porn then. Yeah, let's get down to the facts then. If it's some gay shit going on in the porno and you watching it, you's gay. Stop it.
Yo. Yo. Smash that like button, man. Hit that subscribe button, man. Wow. Yeah. WACK100, man. Don't nobody mess with Wack, man. Dude is a foul individual, man. He talked about Nipsey for years, saying he had this tape. And the tape never existed, man. The tape never existed, man. It's all a lie. He just wanted to be relevant. Straight up. He just wanted to be relevant, man. And he would lie on anybody to be relevant. Dirty individual, man. Straight up. The exposer is being exposed, man. Every which way. Wack said he ready to go silent, though, man. We gonna see how long that lasts for. Wack said he going silent. Yeah. Nah, don't go silent right now, Wack. We just getting started, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't go silent yet, man. Get on Clubhouse and do what you do, man. Cause I want everybody else to have something to talk about too. Cause I'm good. I got mine. You know what I mean? I got plenty to talk about. I got so much content to talk about on Wack. This shit just is endless. But if you stop talking, Wack, you know what they gonna say, Wack. SBGB TV silenced WACK100. That's gonna be the talk, Wack. So you don't want to do that. Yeah, they're gonna add Dogface in there too. I gotta give it to Dogface. Yeah, because he went hard with the T Grizzly fake Fufafi paperwork. So yeah. They gonna say DZ silenced Wack, man. Went hard. So Wack, you gotta keep talking, man. You gotta give, your media team some content, man. They gonna dry up without you though, Wack. That shit gonna hit different. If they don't got a Wack story, they in trouble. Real shit. They gonna shrivel up like a prune, man. So you gotta make sure that you give them, that content, man. They need that, man. You know what I'm saying? They need that, man. So you gotta give them that content though, Wack. Yeah, we gonna keep going. You know, we going non-stop. Yeah. Shout out to all y'all, man, that rock with SBGB TV, man. For sure. Appreciate y'all, man. I was trying to think if I wanted to go in on another story, man. You know. I was thinking if I want going on another story, man. Yeah. But you know what oh man. There was a situation in Chicago too. We are going to talk about that too. Yeah. It was a situation in Chicago. We're going to talk about that. And I think I might talk a little bit about, before we get out of here, about David, the guy that they say the girl was found inside the trunk of his Tesla. They say he's under investigation. So let me see here. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel though, and hit that like button. Let me see here, man. You know I appreciate all y'all. Facts. Yeah, let me see here. I think who's that? Jose Osama. Yeah, he said something about the situation. Chicago mother in the hospital. Let me see what the Jose Osama said. Smash that like button though. Let's see here.
Outrage in South Deering tonight. A mother and child beaten on the way home from school.
The attack was caught on cell phone video and has sparked demands for immediate action. Casey Cronus is live at Chicago Police headquarters with the latest. Casey.
That's right. And community members, as you mentioned, they want answers. Now, Mayor Brandon Johnson and other elected officials tonight are condemning the attack as well, calling it deeply disturbing. And we need to warn you, it is heartbreaking to watch this video. It happened yesterday, shortly after school dismissal, and we have blurred and frozen the video before things escalate. Chicago police are now investigating after a 33-year-old mother named Korshanda and her 9-year-old son were viciously attacked near 106th and Bensley. Her young daughter was also there. The terrifying incident unfolded just a couple blocks away from Orville Bright Elementary School, where the boy is a student. Korshanda says they were walking home when a group of kids began following them, then started punching and kicking the mother and son.
They fought my son, they hit my son first, all in his face. Then they dragged me in the grass and pulled my little baby hair. I'm trying to get justice for my son. I'm thankful for everybody that came out here today to support me.
Community members rallied outside the school today with the boy's parents calling for justice. Korshanda says her son has been bullied at Bright and claims the administration isn't doing enough to protect him. We have Chicago Public Schools' response, but first, a local rapper, Lil Zay Osama, is now coming forward to help. He says he wants to fly the mom and son to LA for dinner and Christmas shopping and has a message for other children listening.
It's just something that shouldn't be going on. Kids should be able to go to school and be comfortable walking home from school and at school learning, you know what I'm saying? Like, kids at that age should not be doing things like that, especially to an adult and to their peers that go to school with them. That's crazy. That shouldn't be happening in our community. We got to do better.
A CPS spokesperson tells us in part, we are horrified by the attack on this family, and we are working collaboratively with city departments and agencies to provide support to the victims. CPS is coordinating closely with the mayor's office, CPD, CHA, and other city departments to provide additional support to the family. In his statement, Mayor Brandon Johnson also said that we cannot normalize this type of behavior. There was an increased police presence near the school today. Reporting live outside CPD headquarters.
Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, come on, man. That's crazy. These kids, man, they don't got no respect. None. It's why I don't be playing with them, man. They ain't got no respect, man. Hell no. They jumped on the mom and the child. Yeah. Crazy. He said a few of the kids' parents had them on there apologizing. Wow. Yeah, they don't be having no respect though. Chicago's off the hook though. Yeah, Chicago is off the hook. I cannot lie. You know, people say they don't think that, you know, the National Guards, hey man, Chicago needs some type of structure. That shit out of whack out there. Yeah, it's like in Chicago, you gotta have a strap. You know, felon or not, you gotta have a strap. You rather get caught with the joint than without it. Cause they ain't playing. Not at all. Yeah, listen, man, I'd rather get caught with it without it than out there. Ain't no safe zone out that joint. You know, you get caught in the wrong spot at the wrong time, it can go down. Yeah, shit. Man. Yeah, ain't no safe zone in Chicago, man. So I think out there, they gotta figure out how they gonna get in order. You know. Yeah, man. That mind state though, you know, people feel like they gotta get comfortable with that. Is crazy. Yeah. Why is it that we gotta get comfortable with living like that though? Yeah, we gotta get comfortable with living like that. I don't know, but to me it's like it's only us when it comes to being comfortable with that type of shit. Like it's like normal. This is normal in the community where we at. You know, when that shit shouldn't be normalized. Ain't no way we should be comfortable with that shit going on in our community though. Like, damn. It's like, hey man, that shit happens. And that shit don't happen everywhere, man. Hell no. We ain't got no unity. Yeah. And they look at some people that don't want to be around that kind of shit like they think they're better than others because they don't want to be around that kind of shit. Nah, they just ain't with that bullshit. They don't want to be around that. So, and I say that for myself. You know, this is me speaking for myself with that. Now, I don't want to be around none of that. You know, it doesn't make me feel like I would be a better person to live in the war zone. Yeah, that shit don't make me feel like that's gonna make me a better person to live in the damn war zone, to live where I know this shit gonna happen at. That's some shit that I want to avoid. Some shit that I don't want to go towards. Some shit that I don't want to be around. But people really act like if you say that kind of shit, you think you better. No, that's just real rap. Who should want to be happy with living in an environment where as though there's nothing to be happy about? You know what I'm saying? Who should want to be happy with living in an environment where there's nothing to be happy about? Come on, man. It's what they say to us, though, man. I'm glad that I just got my way of thinking. And I don't think that's looking down on nobody not wanting to subject yourself to that. Nah, that's just saying that, yeah, I'm better than that though. Like, I'm better than, being around that type of nonsense. This why, people in those type of situations can't think right. Your thinking gotta be survival. You can't think about starting a business. You can't think about investing. You can't think about building anything for your future when you got to be on point for violence all day. It's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible. Because your main concern is, how am I going to survive if something go down? And something liable to go down at any moment. So you got to be prepared for the go down. And you hearing shit here, you hearing shit there. Man, that shit ain't good for nobody. It's not good for nobody. Being real, that shit toxic. Yeah, man. So, one day, hopefully we don't normalize it. And I think it's going to be a different type of pressure for us not to normalize it. And you know what be like crazy is that there's a way to attack it, but the people that don't understand how to attack it is against any way that we could attack it. Oh no, we can't do this and we can't do that, and no, man, that shit need to be attacked. There need to be some fear installed somewhere. For real. There needs to be some type of fear installed, man. Don't nobody there fear getting in trouble. Because everybody there on straight go mode to get in some shit. You got some places across the world, people scared to get a traffic ticket. Man, there in Chicago, they ain't scared to catch a body. It's like normal. Like, yeah, we gonna get down. Somebody gonna get popped. Man, that shit ain't life, man. They got us thinking that shit is life. Man, that shit ain't life, man. That shit ain't normal. Hell no, that's just normal right there. We should never get used to no shit like that. For real. Nobody should be used to that. We should all despise that. We should all look down on that. Like, come on, man. That should be something that black people should really look down on. Yeah, we just like, oh, it's normal. Yeah, I see that shit all the time. When is it that, black people are going to start saying we need to not be accepting that bullshit? All right, some people came from it, right? Understandable. But it's going to take some of the people that came from it to look down on it to make other people feel like that shit ain't cool. One thing is crazy though, is that, the people that are currently in the midst of that bullshit, they really feel like they are, better to better to an extent that they're in the middle of the fire than the people that are not. So somebody that's living in a better area, they feel like, yo, man, you ain't from this. Well, damn. I really don't want to be from that. What better does that make me? And they got us like, thinking like that, man. They got black people thinking that you like better if you really came from the hood. Damn. That's some deep shit. Yeah. So somebody that came from a good area, was blessed, you know, if they have a debate with somebody that's in the gutter that don't got shit, they feel like, oh, you ain't come from this shit. Man, shit. You wouldn't want to be in a good area? You wouldn't want to not be in that area? Like, crazy. You know? Straight up. So, man, we gotta stop accepting that shit. You know what I'm saying? We gotta take a different look at this shit, man. Yeah. Cause I know damn well, right? I don't want to be around none of that shit. Yeah. I don't want to be around none of that shit. You know, I come from the hood shit, but I know how to conduct myself around, but that shit ain't exciting. You know, I like peace and quiet, man. You know, I want to go where, you know what I'm saying, I'm ready, but I ain't really gotta be ready. You know, that shit don't thrive me. You know what I mean? To be in the mix. At my younger days, the sad part is, this what the younger people think like. You know, yeah, I gotta be in the hood and nah, hell no. For what? I know what the hood look like. You know? Yeah. And the fact that, you know, I don't smoke or drink, to me, it's like, what's the purpose? I'm going to go around and just sit around and look at people. You know what I'm saying? I ain't smoking. I ain't drinking. That's to me. You know what I mean? I know some people might look at it different, but I don't see no purpose in my life because I'm really living in reality. I know some people, they smoking and drinking so they escaping reality. I'm living in reality every second of my life. And I don't see any excitement by being in the heart of some, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, slide through. All right. Okay. Slid through. Yeah. But, straight up. Not at all. Negative. You know. Negative. I don't want no parts. Make sure y'all smash that like button and hit that subscribe button, man. And share this live. And, you know, I appreciate all y'all, man. Big facts. Let me see here. Big facts. Let me see here. It was something that I seen the other day. Let's see if I find this. Let me see if I find this joint. I was trying to see something here. I think I might gotta. Oh, is this here? Is this it right here? Nah, that ain't it. Nah, because it was a video that I seen by itself. Yeah, it was a video I seen by him. I don't know if this was the one. It was a shorter one than that. Yeah, it was a shorter one. Let me see though. Smash that like button, man. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, that's what I say. Who want to live in the damn war zone? Yeah, who want to live in a damn war zone? You know? For what? Why? You know what I'm saying? I don't live in no damn war zone. And not at all. Smash that like button. Yeah, I don't want to live in no damn war zone. But yeah. Yeah, let me see. I don't want to live in no damn war zone. Not at all. What's it say here? Yeah, so they finally says David the singer is a suspect. Let me see here. They finally says he's a suspect. Let me see. They finally say he is a suspect. Let me see. Let's see what they say. They finally say he's a suspect in this situation. They said he's viewed as a suspect. Let me see. Let me see what this news thing says. Yeah. Let's see what they say. Smash that like button though, y'all. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Let's see what they say here.
NBC4 Investigates has some new information about the death of Celeste Rivas. She's the 15-year-old girl whose body was found in the front trunk of a Tesla that belongs to the pop singer David.
Yeah, you know, police say they now consider the singer a suspect in her death and say they have better information about when she may have died. Our investigative reporter Eric Linder joins us live from the newsroom with an update for us. Eric?
Hi, Michael and Colleen. Well, as we've been reporting, LAPD detectives from the Robbery Homicide Division have been working this case intensely ever since NBC4 broke the story that a body had been found by workers in a tow yard back in September. Well, now those detectives, we're told, are closer than ever to understanding what happened to this girl and when it happened and who may be responsible. A senior law enforcement source with direct knowledge of this case tells NBC4 Investigates they now believe 15-year-old Celeste Rivas died sometime in the spring. That happened months before her remains were found in the trunk of that Tesla on September 8th. And now the source also tells us that pop singer David is being considered a suspect in her death. Early on, a representative for the singer told us he was cooperating with police. Our law enforcement contacts are now telling us that was never true. David canceled a concert tour after the discovery of the body. Then he moved out of a rental house in the Hollywood Hills and has been staying in Texas. Celeste Rivas was last seen alive in Riverside County in April 2024. There's a memorial there, but her family has declined to talk with us about these most recent developments. Earlier on, a relative told us Celeste did have a relationship with that singer, whose real name is David Burke. The Tesla had been parked out in the Hollywood Hills for about a month before it was impounded in September and the body discovered. Our law enforcement contacts also say they now have reason to believe another person helped with the disposal and concealment of Celeste Rivas's body, but so far they haven't told us if that person has been identified. I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News.
Okay. So they say somebody else may have involvement. Let's see here. They say somebody else may have involvement. Now, I think they definitely doing a thorough investigation because they don't want to make any mistakes. And I think all along he's been a suspect, but different outlets say different things. Yeah, especially her being found inside of his car. So we know that he was a suspect. Now, he done hired a attorney, and we know he didn't go down there and make no statement, right? I guess his attorney said he was being cooperative, but in a situation like this, anything you say gonna hurt you. She was found inside of your car and she was underage. So we know he didn't say any damn thing. Yeah. And they don't want to make a mistake with this investigation and give him any ability to use whatever they're doing against them. So they know he got money. They know he's going to hire a good attorney. So they're going to make sure that they got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed before they push the line on him. But it's coming, and I'm sure they got like a close eye on him. Yeah, he ain't flying nowhere out the country. They probably got him under heavy surveillance because they want to monitor his movement. This is a homicide of a kid. So that he was dealing with. So you better know what it is. And they gonna get to the bottom of it. They gonna get to the bottom of it. Especially it's too much linking to him. So they gonna get to the bottom of it. Make sure y'all hit the like button too. And hit that subscribe button. Let's see what they say here on this.
How is that possible? Is the LAPD telling the truth? What is happening? Whose body was found in singer David's car. How is that possible? Is the LAPD telling the truth? What is happening behind the scenes? We are going to break down every aspect of what this could mean with a retired detective. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Secret, it's called Otis Clip, okay? Viral courtroom updates instantly. That is surprising. That is probably frustrating for a lot of people. That is confusing, but also can maybe be interpreted in a number of ways. The question that we have been asking is, will there be any arrests? And when will there be any arrests? After all, if I were to tell you that a 14-year-old girl, her dead body was found in the trunk of a car back in September out in LA after the car was sent to a tow yard, you would think there would be an arrest, right? What happens if I told you that there's alleged evidence identifying somebody who moved that car? What happens if I were to tell you that according to a private investigator who's on the ground in LA, that Tesla was found near a rental property where David had apparently been staying, that the house was searched by authorities and materials were taken out, that David moved out of that house, and that PI indicates that there is evidence in that house that suggests there was a plan possibly to dispose of a body. You would think there would be an arrest, right? there is no arrest. To be clear, no one, and that includes David, no one has been named a suspect, nor a person of interest, nor officially implicated in any criminal activity. Let me say it again. David has not been named a suspect, he has not been named a person of interest, and he's not been officially implicated in any crime. There's
him saying that there's evidence in the house that there was plans of disposing the body. Oh, you know they just building the case up. They just trying to make sure they got everything lined up. They watching him for sure. They are watching that guy for sure. And they're going to make sure that they got this thing always sealed when they come with the indictment. So for law and crime to know all that information, you know, I'm sure they know a lot. Yeah. Somebody is telling them something. And I think that everything is definitely pointing to him. Yeah. And if it's not him, it's somebody associated with him. And if she was dealing with him, he might got something to do with it.
And no arrests. And then we go to what came out yesterday. TMZ's Harvey Levin posted a video to social media. Now, this is what he said, okay? Quote, "We've spoken with people at LAPD today." So he's talking about November 17th. "We are told it is nowhere imminent that an arrest will be made. That doesn't mean there won't be one, but there's a chance there won't be one in the sense that we don't even know if this was a homicide. We pushed today to find out and could not get answers whether the medical examiner has weighed in and whether toxicology findings are in." And he noted that while it could take several months for those results to come in, you have to have the results in by now, particularly in this case, right? Speculated that perhaps she had died from an overdose, even though there's no direct evidence to suggest that. That is something that has come up. If we're talking about if there's no homicide, if she wasn't killed, what are the circumstances surrounding her death? He said, quote, "We pushed and we cannot get an answer that they are close to making an arrest, that they have a suspect. All we are told is it is not imminent." If they got video of somebody putting the body in the Tesla on Doheny Drive, that doesn't mean that person is responsible for the death of Celeste. After having this conversation with LAPD, it does not feel like we are going to find out today or this week or anytime soon that somebody is responsible for her death. Now, before I bring on a retired detective to talk about this, his perspective, whether the LAPD is in fact being honest with TMZ, if this is all true, let me tell you, if this is all true, why this is so surprising. Aside from how long this has been going on, how long the investigation has been going on, and the potential evidence that was collected at the home, I mentioned that private investigator, right? Steve Fisher. Now, we've interviewed him a number of times here on Sidebar. He is the PI who was hired by the owner of that rental property that David was staying at to look into this, to see what role that house may have played in any of this, if any. He has been on the ground in LA investigating. And when hearing this announcement from the LAPD and taking it as true that they're not close to an arrest, this is why this can be so confusing. First of all, we knew that the results of Celeste's autopsy have been deferred pending further investigation and reportedly the toxicology results coming in. But listen to what Steve told us recently about why he believes the results may be coming in sooner.
Now, you've also been tracking the medical examiner timeline, the LAPD's timelines actively, very closely. Have there been any developments there that you can give a better sense of when we might maybe even see an official determination about the cause of death, the manner of death, anything like that?
I think it could be in the next week to 10 days. And that's because, what I've been doing is tracking, her, she was discovered on the 8th, on September 8th. So I've been tracking the deaths for the months and weeks before that date, and the ones that were in deferred status. Those are usually the ones that are pending toxicology. And then I'm seeing that they're showing up as they're not deferred anymore, and they're showing, acute fentanyl intoxication or whatever. So they have, that shows
in other cases, yes.
So in other cases. So it shows that the toxicology has come back on those, and they're making determinations. And I've seen those as recent as September 3rd right now. So we could be, just days away from, now that doesn't mean the autopsy report is done in total, but it does mean that on the website, we could see a determination of the cause and manner of death, which will then should free up LAPD to do what they're going to do.
That was back on November 3rd. This is also what Steve said about knowing who moved the Tesla. Again, if we're trying to figure out what LAPD allegedly just told TMZ about not being close to an arrest of any kind, does this make sense?
We now have a much better understanding of when that Tesla arrived at that final parking spot. I'll tell you, I do have surveillance from different houses in the neighborhood showing Tesla being moved. And so things like that, and I'm not even saying that LAPD didn't have that, but I'm sure they did. But we wanted to make sure, and and we did some work and on the up-resing the footage to find out who was driving the vehicle.
Do you know who was driving that car, that Tesla? You don't have to tell me, but do you know the identity?
Yeah, as far as going to the final, that what we believe is the final parking spot where it was towed from, yes.
And that information's been communicated to law enforcement.
So it's been given to law enforcement. They're not going to tell us if they're confirming if that's the person or not. Robbery, homicide, the way they work is we'll take your information. We're not going to speak on it, so I don't know. But listen, it's very clear that that neighborhood is filled with surveillance cameras, and the timelines, once we learn those dates and we can see other things that were happening that were even public on Instagram and whatnot, or going on in those people's lives, it makes a lot of sense.
So let me ask you this. If you see when the car was parked there, have you seen anything to indicate that Celeste's body was transferred into that car after the car was parked there? Or in other words, do you believe that her body was in that car the minute it was parked in the location it was ultimately towed from?
So I'll say I have no evidence of a body being transferred before or after. There's no evidence of that at all. What I will say, when it was moved to that position, it was already like that. So that car had not been used in a very long time. It was super dirty, caked on dirt. I'll tell you, this was in late July. So it's bizarre because we also got media that the car was used a lot. David even spoke about it in Instagram videos. He took it to a detail shop and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, the very beginning of the year, that car, something happens, and the car's doesn't show up anymore. It's not used. It seems to disappear. And then that red Tesla learned, which we didn't know until the search warrant was served, that there's a red Tesla in the garage, which I can tell you was at least on February 1st.
Again, if they knew who moved the car, there's not enough to arrest that person. And we're going to discuss what the charge could be. And we go back to that rental property, which was rented out by David's manager. By the way, David's manager was on the lease. David was purportedly staying there. Listen to what Steve Fisher had to say.
But I will say this, there are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence, that was at that house that is, there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her. And it's scary, sadistic stuff. And that's why we're trying to learn more about that. I wish I could say more, but for obvious reasons I can't. But it doesn't have to do with how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her, and how maybe that Tesla was just a holding spot at the time, and things just, their timing was just off as far as getting this done. But there's a few things that were just will blow your mind.
But TMZ is now reporting that according to their conversation with LAPD is no closer to an arrest. And yes, that is fairly consistent with what we reported on a recent episode of Sidebar, where the LAPD confirmed with KTLA that its prior news release, quote, stands on its own, essentially meaning, this is what they're referring to in the past, their prior statement where they said there's currently no crime other than concealment of a body that may have occurred, with no case being sent over to the LA County District Attorney's Office for review or potential prosecution. But again, they talked about concealment of a death, but still no arrest is imminent. Okay, so I want to try to make sense of this. I want to bring on once again Matt Irvine, retired detective, law enforcement instructor. Matt, thank you so much for coming on. You were on with us last time. This is significant, and I am curious whether or not we can believe what LAPD presumably told TMZ. But just your overall reaction to that, if that is true, that there is no arrest that's imminent right now.
Well, I think we can believe that they are being straight with TMZ, I don't think there's any reason for LAPD to be deceptive here. They're not required to reveal everything, but I think they've got no good reason to lie.
Just push you back on that. Are they concerned about revealing any information to the media that would tip any potential suspect off? I mean, why make the announcement if it could jeopardize the investigation? I mean, we'll talk about whether or not it's true. If it's 100% true they don't have an arrest imminent, we'll talk about that. But is it possible that they're not being so straightforward, not telling TMZ exactly what's going on?
Well, I think that's absolutely likely. They certainly are not going to show their hand in the midst of an investigation. They're not going to reveal anything that might jeopardize that investigation. But for them to say that there's nothing imminent, there's no arrest on the horizon, that's still not a very hopeful statement. It doesn't summarize the entirety of the investigation, but it's got to be disappointing for Celeste's family that deserves answers to what happened to their child, and for the millions of folks who've come to care about this child and have every reason to be disappointed at this moment in the investigation.
But if that is true that there is no arrest imminent, I laid it out. There's a number of potential crimes here. There's the idea of moving the body in California. Even if you move a body in an accidental death, that's a lower level crime. It's a misdemeanor, but it's a misdemeanor. If we're talking about whether or not the toxicology results came back, and potentially, as we heard Harvey Levin said, that you might be dealing with an overdose, you do wonder, do they have evidence whether anyone furnished drugs, narcotics to a minor? You do wonder if there was evidence in the house that there was a plan to dispose of a body. There seems to be potentially something that they could arrest someone on. And I guess the question is, even if there are lower level offenses, why not make an arrest?
Well, and we spoke about this a little bit last time, that there are certainly some lower level crimes, misdemeanors, and some felonies that are implicated in what may be the circumstances around Celeste's death. There is, and I disagree with Mr. Levin on this, there is a theory of homicide as well, if somebody furnished drugs to her that caused her death. So there's certainly reason to believe that people will be held criminally accountable in this case. The tricky thing when you're investigating something like this is, before you move on somebody, you need to know the universe of crimes that they may have been involved in and kind of where they are in the food chain of criminal culpability, so that you move on the right people at the right time and don't jeopardize the most liable, the most culpable suspects in a case like this.
It occurred to me, if they make an announcement like this, and it couples with the announcement that we reported on a previous sidebar that, we stand by our prior recording, we can't, definitively say that a homicide occurred. They had previously indicated that there might not be any crime here, even beyond concealing of a body. Has law enforcement in the past, in your experience, ever made a public statement like this, where the goal is to get a suspect to let their guard down and do something and say something that may implicate them in some way? Is that a possibility, or am I really grasping at straws here?
No, I think you're actually right on the money there. So it is very common in an investigation like this, when you've got somebody under surveillance or you're otherwise monitoring their communications, that you will do something to try to, if you've got a wiretap, it's called tickling the wire. And basically what that means is you try to induce somebody to communicate with somebody, to go someplace, to do something in response to the information that you've put out there. You can put that out there in the press. You can say something to one involved party in hopes that they will communicate that to another involved party. So there's a lot of ways in which law enforcement can try to induce people to take an action that will further the investigation.
Now, going to the idea that really, we have nobody to arrest right now, there's nothing imminent. I did wonder, let's say, for example, drugs are involved. And by the way, no evidence to suggest that's actually what happened. That's what contributed to Celeste's death. But if we are talking about that, and we are talking maybe potentially an overdose, that there's no homicide here, no one killed her, is it possible they may have difficulty trying to establish that someone gave her the narcotics, whereas if she just obtained them on her own? So let's say it was nobody as part of that house, nobody connected to David. And again, just to be clear, neither David nor anybody in his camp has been charged or has been named a suspect or a person of interest, but maybe they're having trouble actually determining, again, assuming this is what happens, assuming where those drugs might have come from. Is that a possibility too? Because I agree with you. We've seen cases before where drug dealers get charged in connection with somebody's death if they furnish, poisonous drugs to somebody and they die. But could that be what's going on too? They just can't determine if she had them herself?
That's absolutely possible. And it's something that's going to have to be figured out, probably by communications either among the parties involved or somebody involved talking directly to law enforcement. That's really the only way they're likely to figure out, again, if this was a drug overdose, the circumstances that led to her ingesting those drugs.
But how is it possible that there's no medical examiner findings at this point? Why would it take this long? Unless, put aside the idea of a theory of drugs, if she was killed, if she was murdered, there would be some sort of evidence. And yes, we have to talk about the condition of the body, but you would think after all this time, it's November. I mean, the body was discovered in September. Wouldn't they know? Wouldn't there be some sort of indication that she was killed? Or is that still, I mean, is it strange to you? We still don't have an answer to that. Is it still strange that the medical examiner's findings haven't been released yet? What do you think's going on there?
So obviously, I'm not a medical examiner. I'm just a former sort of end user of their expertise. So I can't speak to all the science involved, but it does seem to me, based on my experience, that they likely know now all that they're going to know about the circumstances around her death. And if they don't know at this point, it is likely due to the amount of time and the conditions under which her body languished before it was discovered. As we talked about last time, drugs are only going to stay in the body of a deceased person for days, maybe weeks. And depending on the mechanism of death, even in a homicide, with a certain amount of decomposition, you just may not be able to tell. I had a case years ago where somebody languished for 4 months before we found them, and we were unable to establish a cause of death, specifically because of the amount of decomposition that occurred before we were able to have that person examined.
There are times, though, when law enforcement and authorities and prosecutors, they'll release details of how someone was killed before there's an arrest. If there was evidence that she was stabbed or shot or strangled or there was blunt force trauma, do you think that because otherwise everybody's speculating. Everybody's speculating. They might not care what people online or the media cares or is saying, but what would be the risk of coming out and saying, listen, I know there's a lot of speculation. This is what we're able to determine at this time, X, Y, and Z. Why not just come out and say that?
Well, if you have a case that at this point seems to be dependent on people talking, people communicating, either with each other or directly with the police, the last thing you want to do is to raise the kind of psychological temperature, the level of anxiety around talking. So if you put out there a lot of really dangerous information that's going to make people be very apprehensive about talking, you potentially undermine your investigation.
But do you feel at this point it is becoming less likely that she was killed, that this is a homicide investigation, that we may just be dealing with concealing the body? I mean, does it seem to you that that's the reality of the situation at this point? It could change, but do you think it's becoming more and more likely that we are not dealing with a homicide?
I think is becoming more and more likely, at least based on what is being publicly reported, that we may not know who, if anybody, took Celeste Rivas Hernandez's life. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just may mean that there's not sufficient evidence based on the facts that we've discussed to show that anybody took her life. But maybe this is also then a moment where we need to have a different kind of conversation around this and stop with the speculation about how she died and who may have been responsible for that death, and talk about what we do know, which is we may not know who took her life, but it seems really clear from what is being publicly reported that David Burke and perhaps others in his circle took her childhood. And I'm not saying that she was an angel, we don't know that, but she was a child. And the circumstances that led to her losing her life and ending up abandoned in the front trunk of his Tesla are not uncommon or not unfamiliar. There's a lot of ways in which the dynamic of this relationship that she seems to have had with David Burke is very reminiscent of what we see in child sex trafficking cases. And I'm not saying that David Burke trafficked her. There's no evidence of that. But what I am saying is this dynamic where a older man, but still young enough to be attractive, to seem like boyfriend material, seems to offer this life of glamour, of wealth, of fame, of excitement, maybe even of love, and lures a child from a background that may be disadvantaged or abusive or just bored. That is not a story that is unique to Celeste. That is a story that is very common when children are trafficked and exploited, and it leads to a lot of kids, not just Celeste, dying way too young.
I definitely believe they're not telling the world everything. They're not telling the world everything because of the situation, the circumstances, and they're still investigating. So they're going to throw us off. They're going to say certain things to make us think that it's not this and that it might be this. But that's a part of the investigation. If they reveal everything that's going on in the investigation to the world, that's going to, definitely let us know how the investigation is going, and that messes up investigations. So at this point in time, I don't think they're telling us the truth when it comes to this stuff. This is somebody that was a child, that something happened. She was unalived in the car. The car was his car, and they just trying to investigate to find out what happened. So, this guy on here is saying that he don't think that, they're ever gonna charge somebody for it, or it's a possibility. Now they're gonna charge somebody for this, straight up. And we all gotta remember that she is a child and he was dealing with her. He was an adult. She's a child. He was dealing with her. So something got to happen. Yeah. They're not going to tell us, though. And I know that. They're going to pop up with something. And then that's when the conversation is going to be what it is. After they charge, after they grab him, if they let him know all the details, he might harm himself. He might try to do something crazy. No, they want him to be comfortable, and they want him not to be prepared for what's going to come. Let him speculate. But I know damn well he ain't sleeping right at night, because ain't no way you're going to be sleeping right in a situation like this.
Under horrific circumstances. And if we can start talking about that and not kind of just stay in this loop of speculation, maybe we can keep some other kids from ending up like this.
Now, I appreciate that. I appreciate that point, and it's an important point to make, not just about Celeste's story, but like you said, stories around the country. There could be a situation where they just don't have definitive proof about what this relationship was. They came out that they have, when they did an autopsy, initial findings, that Celeste wasn't pregnant at the time. She hadn't been pregnant in the year prior. They may not have physical evidence of whatever kind of relationship she may or may not have had with David. But this does go to a larger point. Is there an advantage to arrest somebody, even on a lower level offense? You get them in, maybe you can obtain a search warrant of some kind, maybe you can question them a bit. That can lead to further evidence because, again, if I go back to my interview with Steve Fisher, where there's surveillance footage of someone moving the car purportedly, and you can ID that person. Now, we don't know when the body was exactly put in the car, but it looks like it was already in there. Why not just make an arrest on that point? Unless they can't establish that that person knew the body was in there or not. I mean, again, going back to this point, if there's an opportunity to arrest somebody, even on a lower level offense, I've seen it before in other cases, that could lead to more evidence, that could lead to more serious charges. You get them on something at first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whether you're arresting them or just talking to them and trying to cooperate them and kind of work your way up the culpability food chain, that is absolutely an important strategy in a case like this. You mentioned that there may not be physical evidence that speaks to the relationship that David Burke had with Celeste, and I grant you that, but there is an electronic footprint that shows he was communicating with her years ago, maybe when she was as young as 11 years old. And he was 17, but he's a 17-year-old with a multi-million-dollar contract with Interscope Records and millions of fans online. So it's a profoundly unequal and I would say potentially exploitative power dynamic. And until this case blew up, David was a very public figure and he had a whole lot of people around him and his time was other people's money. So there's going to be a lot of people that knew where David was, what he was doing, and who he was doing it with for a lengthy period of time that coincides with a lengthy relationship of some sort with Celeste. And again, to your point that we don't have physical evidence to establish their relationship, we do have information that 19 years old, that she allegedly had fake IDs showing she was 19 years old. If his relationship with Celeste were appropriate, none of that would be necessary. The reason you hold a 13 or 14-year-old child out as being 19 is because the relationship you're having is one that would be appropriate if she were 19. But it's absolutely inappropriate with a child.
He hasn't spoken out about this. So it's not like he's come out and said, hey, I thought she was 19. This is kind of what like TMZ has got sources who know David and his camp said that there was in that camp, they thought she was 19. He hasn't come out and directly said it, but I hear you. By the way, talking about David, when it first came out, it was reported, I believe by his spokesperson, that he had been cooperating with authorities. Now, if that is true, does that mean that he has been 100% honest with law enforcement if they've interviewed him? Because if he had provided false information in any way, we're talking 2-3 months, right? You would think that they could have arrested him for providing false information to law enforcement. So would it be fair to say that if he spoke to them, assuming he spoke to them, what he told them right now has been verified? Or again, does it go back to this question that they're waiting on a fuller picture to understand everything that happened? Because that's something I was wondering about as well. And we don't know 100% if he spoke to law enforcement and what cooperation means, but that was something I was thinking about as well.
So providing false information to law enforcement in California is under most circumstances just a misdemeanor. So it's a fairly low-level crime. And it doesn't apply to suspects. And again, I'm not saying that David is a suspect, but if he were a suspect, he is under no obligation to be truthful or to cooperate in any way because he's got a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. So there's really no way to know what, if anything, David said to law enforcement and how cooperative or honest he was in those communications. But given that he seems to be circumstantially, at least a person of interest in the case, there's no reason to think that he would be arrested on a misdemeanor charge in the midst of a potential homicide investigation.
And by the way, if they had proof that someone committed a homicide here, that someone committed a murder or there's manslaughter, wouldn't they immediately pick that person up? Because wouldn't that person be a danger to the public? Wouldn't they immediately make arrests? So if they haven't made an arrest, and we take it back to the full circle, what Harvey Levin had reported, that there's no arrest imminent, it seems again that they might not believe that she was killed.
That's certainly possible, but particularly on a homicide, you don't make an arrest until you feel like you've got a pretty airtight case. As soon as you arrest somebody, you start a clock with the courts, and you got 48 hours basically to get this person in front of a judge with charges filed. And you don't want to do that unless you feel like this case is California is 10 days before a preliminary hearing, and then a very short time after that, potentially a jury trial, where you got to convince 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that you got the right person for the charges that you arrested them for. So there's no statute of limitations in murder. And most murderers, to be quite frank, in my experience, are not necessarily a danger to the general public. They killed the person that they killed for the reasons that were very personal, and it does not mean that they are serial killers that pose a danger to the public at large. And so in most cases of homicide, you wait to make an arrest until you feel like you've got a case that is pretty much trial ready.
Prosecutors would disagree with you during a bail analysis. That one of the factors they would say is this person's a danger to the public. I mean, they're charged with murder. They shouldn't be out, but that's a separate point. Okay, let me just ask you this. LAPD making this statement, apparently making this statement to TMZ. Is it possible that what LAPD tells the media is not the same thing that they are telling the victim's family?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They may make a strategic decision to release one set of facts or one kind of information to one party and something very different to another. I would hope they're sharing anything with the family, that they're being honest in what they're sharing. I think families deserve that when they've lost a loved one, but the media doesn't deserve that. The general public, with all due respect, doesn't deserve that.
When somebody, loses a loved one, no, they're not going to tell them everything in the investigation, because they know people use their emotions and they react off their emotions. They're going to start saying certain things. They're going to tell somebody. And once you say something to one person, it's going to travel. So I think they're not going to tell the family everything. And with the media, they're going to say certain things to the media to throw it all to keep you guessing. So I really think that that is something that they have learned over time, to not tell the family and to mislead the media. So in this situation here, I really think that the family is not told the truth and the media is misled as well, so that, you know, they can keep people in suspense about what's going on. And that also makes, you know, certain people that might know something, they might say a certain thing because they hear the media reporting something this way. So they might come out and say, all right, if they have any knowledge, they'll say something, and that might travel. So I think it's a tactic for them to also get information as well.
If misdirection or the withholding of information is a strategic choice to further the investigation, that's absolutely appropriate. I don't think you lie to loved ones, but everybody else is fair game.
Matt Irvine, thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you about this.
And that's all we have for you right now.
Yeah. So in that situation there, I think the time is coming. You know, it's going to come. You know what I mean? Something got to be done about that. Yeah. Something got to be done about that. You know what I mean? Or, like, is that what's going on with that police force out there? They like not up on it? Like, because it's a lot going on out there, and they acting like they don't know what's going on. Or do they know what's going on and they just playing a different game? We shall see, man. We shall definitely see, man. You know, y'all can let me know what y'all think about that. You know, and make sure y'all smash the like button if you haven't hit the like button already. You know, we appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. Check out the merch, sbgbtv.com. Leave a comment. Become a member. It's only $3.99. You know, I appreciate y'all too. Michelle. I appreciate everybody that rock with SBGB TV, man. If you would like us to promote anything for you, email me at sbgbtv@gmail.com. You know, we appreciate all of y'all that rock with SBGB TV. If you are a member of the channel, put a 1 in the chat so we can shout you out. And I appreciate you, you know. Yeah, they definitely doing some homework, but it's definitely, you know, strange that, you know, they're taking this long, but they got to be doing some damn homework. You know, I'm sure the FBI and all that is involved in this, because this is a child that was found like this in a car, the connections. And, you know, he says that surveillance picked up somebody, I guess that they know, going to the car. I don't know if it was taking the body to the car, but like, hold up. Like, if they witnessed that on surveillance, you better know something is going to come up out of this. Yeah, for sure. But I appreciate y'all. C Brown, Blue Chicken, Run the Table, Michelle. Shout out to y'all, man. Yes, all the people that rock with SBGB TV, man, I appreciate you, man. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Y'all know we live all the time. So subscribe and hit that notification bell, you know, so you can get the notification. Yeah. You know, we active with the people, and we consistent, man. Yeah, and we growing. Mike Pina, we growing. Straight up, non-stop. You know, we will be going live twice a day. You know, we rolling the content out though. We rolling the content out, man. We in a little groove, so we rolling this content out. We gonna keep rolling it out. Yeah. Non-stop. Y'all know once I get off the live, I'll be up for another 2 hours working more. DZ is so dedicated to this. I'm locked in. Yeah. And the challenge is going good for this month. You know, I think today is the 19th. And the challenge is going good for this month. I can't lie. I'm doing very well on the challenge for this month. I have to agree. So we want to make sure I complete the challenge. And next month, you know, we're going to carry the challenge in the next month, but turned up a little bit. Yeah. We get new subscribers every day. So that's a good thing. Yeah. We got new subscribers coming in every day. Yeah. Get new members. Shout out to all the new members, all the people that rock with SBGB TV, man. You know, I appreciate all of y'all, man, that rock with SBGB TV, man. Yeah. I know we the rawest late night show in the building. Yeah. The rawest late night show in the building. Yeah, man. Smash that like button, subscribe, and share the live, man. We appreciate y'all. Big facts. I appreciate, you know, everybody that support the channel. Appreciate you, Bless Naja Beauty, for donating to the channel. And we still going hard in the paint. And I see y'all in the few, man. Yeah, I see y'all in the few, man. We're gonna roll these joints out. And I see y'all in the few. Smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. Shout out to all y'all. What's the challenge? Is to roll this content out. That's the challenge. You know, that I go live twice a day and keep rolling this content out. That's the challenge. Being consistent, you know, because it's very easy to fall off. Everybody can't do this consistent. You know, this stuff is easy said. You know, it's easy. It's easy to say this, but it is a task to do it consistently and to have the volume. And this is why a lot of people fall off from it. You know, a lot of people fall off. And DZ gonna be here for the remainder of his life. Yeah. Damn right. I done told myself, if I could run around the streets all damn night, why can't I do this? I ran around the street for many a nights. All night long, sun coming up. If I can do that, I should be able to do this. You know? If I can do that, there's no way that I can't do this. Yeah. But you know, everybody wants to be at the top when they start something, though. I tell you that on some real shit. You know, when people start things, they want to be at the top instantly. And, you know, people want to, you know, don't want to put that work to get there. You know, oh, that ain't enough. Nah, don't worry about the paper. When you starting something, don't think about the paper. Think about your craft. The paper gonna come. So, you know, this is where I'm at now. I'm thinking about my craft. to design my craft, what fits for me, you know, to do this content. And I know everything else gonna come. Yeah. But I gotta get my craft in order, and that's what I'm working on. You know, and I feel like this month here was, you know, a good month for me to get back, you know, going. You know, because sometimes I be like, but then I look back like, hold up, I gotta work smarter, not harder. So find what works for you. And not everything that works for other people are gonna work for you. You gotta find what works for you. And when you find it, go. You know what I mean? Go mode. So, you know, I feel like I found what works for me, and I just got to turn that up. That's all. You know, I think I found what works for me. And you know, the challenge that I got now is putting this content out the way I'm putting it out now. If you see how I'm putting it out, you know, that's the challenge. But, you know, when I go to the next challenge, it's to turn it up a little more. You feel me? It's to turn it up just a tad bit more. Yeah. So that's the goal. That is the goal. Yeah. And I already got in my mind, you know, how I'm going to turn it up. And I just like to show y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just like to show y'all. So I got in my mind. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep turning it up, man. Yeah, I'm turning it up. I'm in my own zone. I'm not in competition with nobody but myself. So as long as I push myself to do what I'm doing, we ain't got no choice but to elevate. Yeah. So stay locked in. Subscribe to the channel. You know, yeah. And I'm thinking, like, being honest, you know, next month I'm trying to, like, think about 3 lives a day, you know, and I'm like, I got to get to that, but I know I'm on 2. I'm locked in on 2, but if I turn it up to 3 a day, I think it's going to be beneficial, whereas though we're going to reach more people. So it's got to keep going. You know? Yeah, it's got to keep going. 3 lives a day. So that might be the next challenge for next month. 3 lives a day. Even if, you know, live isn't so long or something, but 3 lives a day. Yeah. So, you know, and more than that. We just trying to pump the content. You know, if I can pump a high volume of content out, you know, by me doing it, just imagine as time goes on and I have, you know, some people riding with me, you know, pumping the content out. And that's the thing that's important. You know, as hard as I go, anybody that's going to rock with me, you got to go harder than me. I can't have nobody rocking with me. If we're going to rock the content, if somebody's saying, yo, I want to, you know, be with you on this, you got to go harder than me. Yeah, you got to go harder than me. And you got to go harder than me without me instructing you. If I got to instruct you to go harder than me, I could do that myself. You know? Yeah, I can do that my damn self. Yeah. So, you know, nah, it's not that, blue chicken. You know, your ears playing tricks on you, baby. They playing tricks on you, baby. Yeah. I'm just calm. Y'all know I'm real versatile. I can get in here and get the holler. You know? I can get here and get the holler. And I can get here and be calm. Yeah. I told some stories today. You know what I mean? Told some stories today. And yeah, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And smash that like button, man. Shout out to all y'all. Excuse me. And we'll be back. We'll be back in a few, man. Y'all know. Be on the lookout for the drops. Yeah. Shout out to all y'all, man. Y'all know what it is, man. DZ appreciate everybody. Yeah. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah. We here every day. You know you're going to see me. Become a member. $3.99. You know I'm here. Shout out to all y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, though. You hear me? It's not about the setback. It's about the get back. Nah.